Captain Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the UES Defiant Horizon, eyes fixed on the stars gliding past the forward screen. The mission was 3 months in a routine exploratory assignment in the Kepler 442 system. Her crew of 8, 147 strong, had spent the time surveying colony prospects, running samples, and transmitting updates back to Earth Command. It was steady work, peaceful, the kind that let Chen sleep easy each night. "Captain, I'm getting something," called Lieutenant Torres from sensors. Her tone triggered Chen's instinct, honed by 15 years beyond Earth. It was the sound of someone trying not to panic while staring at the impossible. Chen strode over. Torres had been part of the crew for 2 years, sharp and unshakable. If she flagged something, it mattered. "What is it, Lieutenant?" Chen asked. Torres gestured at her console. "Unknown energy reading, orbiting the 4th planet. It's huge, Captain, and not natural." Chen narrowed her gaze. The energy signature was like nothing recorded in their archives, a steady throb like a pulse. Yet the reading hinted at technology well beyond Earth's reach. "Dr. Webb, report to the bridge," she ordered into her thigh. Within moments, Marcus Webb entered. Tall, lean, somewhere in his 50s, with storm-gray hair and eyes always scanning problems no one else saw. Chen had served with him twice before. She valued his insight more than most. "Captain," Webb said, peering at the readouts and adjusting his glasses. "Look at this. What do you make of it?" Webb's expression darkened with each second he read. "This is artificial, no question, judging from the output. It's a structure. Enormous, possibly several kilometers in size." He hesitated. "Right. But the tech." He shook his head. "It's generations ahead of us." "Is it a threat?" Chen asked. "Hard to say. The signature's steady no buildup suggesting a weapon. If I had to guess, I'd say it's automated, possibly a station or a lab." Chen weighed their situation. Protocol demanded they report all alien artifacts immediately, but they were weeks from the nearest outpost. By the time a response team arrived, others might have already claimed it. "Set course for the 4th planet," she ordered. "Yellow alert. Briefing in 30 minutes. All department heads." The crew acknowledged, and Chen felt the subtle vibration of engines shifting direction. She'd made calls like this before, thousands of them, but this one, it felt different, heavier. 2 hours later, the Defiant Horizon exited FTL near. The 4th planet, what they saw, stunned the entire bridge. It was a ring. A colossal, majestic ring forged from obsidian metal and crystal, easily large enough to encircle Earth's moon. Lights danced across its surface in repeating intervals, too precise to be random. Almost like a script. Damage was visible, massive sections missing, shattered, or twisted beyond recognition. But other portions glowed with power, humming softly. "Alive? My God," Dr. Webb murmured, eyes wide behind his lenses. "It's breathtaking." Chen agreed, even ruined. The structure radiated purpose, intent, intelligence. Whoever made this hadn't just built. They'd sculpted on a scale. "Beyond comprehension, Captain," Torres said. "I'm detecting there's atmosphere inside parts of the ring." "Breathable," Torres reported. "And we've identified what appear to be docking bays along the interior walls." "Any signs of life?" Chen asked. "None. No motion, no thermal readings, no chatter. Whatever this place was, it's been silent for a long time." Chen nodded, her mind already made up. "Dr. Webb, assemble an away team. Follow full archaeological protocols. Take a shuttle. Let's see what we can uncover." Over the next 6 hours, Chen monitored transmissions from the team. They explored alien corridors inscribed with what might have been text. Rooms, housing, unfamiliar devices no one could identify. Most importantly, they located what appeared to be a central data core still faintly active. Dr. Webb's voice burst through the com with barely contained excitement. "Captain, you need to hear this. Star charts spanning half the galaxy. Propulsion models that could cut travel time by 90%. Sarah, There are mineral scans in here, locations of rare materials we've only theorized. Enough to fuel our expansion for centuries. A shiver ran down Chun's spine. Discoveries like this never stayed secret long. And secrets like this were magnets for danger. Her thoughts proved prophetic. "Captain?" Taurus's voice rang out. "3 vessels just decloaked off our starboard flank. Definitely not human." Chen snapped her attention to the screen. 3 sleek alien ships hovered beside the defiant horizon. Graceful in design like marine predators, shaped by stars, but something about them screamed threat. "Open a channel." The main display blinked to life. An alien face appeared bipedal, but in no way human. Its skin was an icy blue, patterned with darker streaks like tattoos or scales. Large, entirely black eyes gave away nothing. When it spoke, its voice was harsh and cold. "I am Commander HFY of the Zephyrion hegemony. You are intruding in sovereign territory. Depart immediately." Chen kept her tone level, controlled. "Commander HFY, I am Captain Sarah Chen of the United Earth ship Defiant Horizon. We're on a peaceful scientific mission. We're unaware this system was claimed. We're open to cooperation, sharing what we found." HFY didn't blink. "Humans do not share. You crawl from your cradle and call yourselves explorers. This technology is beyond your grasp. You have 1 solar cycle to vacate, remain, and we will remove you." The screen went dark. Chen's crew turned to her, silent, awaiting orders. She raised her cum. "Dr. Webb, how long to extract critical data from the core?" Pause. Then Webb answered, 12 hours for essentials, 3 days for a full pull." Chun's gaze returned to the alien ships. Bigger than the Defiant Horizon, clearly war-capable, but her crew outnumbered them, and humanity didn't fold to threats. "Start emergency download," she ordered. "Non-essential crew, prepare for evacuation. Open a channel to Earth Command, we have to inform them." As her officers sprang into motion, Chen stared at the Zephyrian warships. She couldn't shake. The feeling this moment would define everything. For her crew. For Earth. For the fragile balance of power in this arm of the galaxy. The only question, did they have time to survive it? Chen stood in the cargo hold, watching crates of tools and personal kits being loaded into shuttles. The evacuation ran smoothly, but the fear was there in every step and glance. They trusted her, but they understood the risk. Her cum buzzed again. "Captain," came Webb's voice, urgent. "We've downloaded the charts and propulsion specs, but there's so much more. Mineral data alone could reshape everything." Chen keyed her mic. "How long for that? 6 hours for the surveys? Maybe 8 for the tech blueprints. Captain, what we're uncovering this could push humanity to centuries ahead. FTL systems that don't need mega reactors. Alloys 10 times stronger than anything we've used. Energy systems that could power entire colonies." Chen closed her eyes for a moment. 8 hours. Fixay had given them 24, but she doubted he'd honor the deadline. His arrogance wasn't an act, it was certainty. He already knew what he intended to do. "Keep downloading," she said, "but be ready to pull out at a moment's notice." 3 hours later, Torres's voice broke the tension again. "Captain Zephyrion ships are moving. They're positioning around us." Chen turned sharply. The Zephyrian ships formed a triangle around Defiant Horizon, boxing them in. It was a textbook strike formation designed to cut off any chance of retreat. "Open a channel to Commander Vexa," Chen ordered. The screen lit up with the alien's face. His expression was colder than before. "You're still here, human. That means you're either brave or foolish. I suspect the latter." "Commander, we're complying," Chen replied evenly. "Evacuation is nearly finished. Just need a few more hours to safely extract our crew from the structure." Vexy's obsidian eyes narrowed. "You lie. Our sensors show data being pulled from ancient systems. That is theft of Zephyrian assets." "The facility was deserted when we arrived," Chen said, keeping her tone controlled. "No territorial beacons, no warnings. By standard salvage law, humans do not lecture Zephyrians on the law." Vexai cut her off, voice laced with menace. Cease all data extraction immediately and return what you have stolen. She had tried diplomacy, offered cooperation, even agreed to leave. But it was becoming obvious. The Zephyrians had no intention of letting them depart peacefully. I'm sorry, Commander. The data we collected is a result of our research. We're willing to share it, but we won't surrender it outright. Vex's face twisted. Then you've sealed your fate. The screen went black. Captain Torres cried. Energy spiked from the lead ship. A beam of searing plasma tore past the defiant horizon, skimming above the hull. The ship shuddered violently from the blast, and damage alarms erupted across the bridge. Thermal surge hit the starboard hull. Rodriguez, the chief engineer, shouted over the comm. Navigation arrays down, precision thrusters offline. And we've got 12 injured in Section C. Chin's fists clenched. It was a warning shot, but it had injured her people. It changed everything. Dr. Webb, she said into her communicator, begin emergency evac. Get your team back now. Captain, we're mid-transfer on manufacturing data. We just need 2 hours. Yes, no, Doctor. Ton turned to her tactical officer. Lieutenant Park. Options. What? Young but sharp and top of her class. Tapped her interface. Limited, Captain. Their ships are stronger, better shielded. We might hold off one for a few minutes, but 3. She trailed off, shaking her head. Offensively, Chen pressed. Our missiles won't penetrate their defense nets. Railguns might break through if we close the gap, but they won't let us near. Chen exhaled through her nose. She'd expected this. The defiant horizon was built to explore, not to fight. Their defenses were respectable, but not for this. Commander Vexai is calling again, Torres reported. Put it through. The alien returned to the screen. Expression changed. Smug now, like a predator circling wounded prey. You ready to be reasonable, human? He asked. Chen didn't blink. What do you want? You will relinquish all findings from the site, Vexa said. Research logs, system records everything. Your ship's databanks will also be examined to ensure nothing has been concealed. Chen could feel her crew watching. This was the moment they'd learn who she really was, if she would fold or resist. And if we agree, she asked, then you may leave. Eventually that word sealed it. The Zephyrians never intended to let them go. They had seen too much. The tech, the location, and worse, they had proven humans could comprehend it. I'll need time to consider, Chen said. You have 1 hour, Vexi replied, then vanished from the screen. Chen turned to her command staff. Options. We could try to break out, Park suggested. Dump all auxiliary power into engines. They hit our nav array, Rodriguez reminded. Even if we reach FTL, we'll be flying blind. And they'll fire before we can charge. What about hiding inside the ring? Torres asked. It's big, and the residual energy fields might cloak our emissions. Chen shook her head. They know we're here, and they've got 3 ships. They'll just outweight us. Webb's voice crackled over comms. Captain, we're back aboard. Before we left, I launched a compressed data stream toward human space. It won't arrive for weeks, but at least something will make it out. A flicker of hope touched Chen. If the data reached Earth Command, then humanity would know what was here and what happened to them. Commander Vexai is hailing again, Torres said. The screen lit up. Vexai's patience had eroded into visible contempt. Your time is over, human? What is your answer? Jen straightened her shoulders. She thought of her crew, of the families waiting on Earth, of the children who might never see their parents again. But she also thought of humanity, the species that had once lived in caves and now reached between stars. My answer is no, she said, voice clear and unwavering. We will not surrender our research. We will not allow our ship to be searched. If you want what we have, come and take it. Vex's expression darkened into fury. Then you will perish, examples. For others who would challenge the hegemony, Chen's voice echoed across the ship. All hands, this is the captain. We're about to come under attack by hostile alien forces. Report to battle stations. Prepare for combat. Klaxons wailed through the corridors. Chen stood on the bridge, staring out at the void. Whatever came next, one truth remained. Humanity would remember that defiant horizon did not go quietly. Far away at Proxima Station, Admiral Jackson Hayes stood silently in the command center. His jaw clenched as he read the display. 3 hours earlier, the emergency beacon from the UES Defiant Horizon had arrived, followed by Dr. Webb's compressed data package. What he was seeing chilled him. Hayes was a large man in his 60s with graying hair and scarred hands. From the century border conflicts, he had spent 40 years facing down threats to Earth. He recognized catastrophe when he saw it. This wasn't just trouble. This was a spark on the edge of war. When was this signal sent? You have violated the structure's integrity. All documentation, all logs of your findings are now Zephyrian property. Your vessel's databanks will be searched to verify compliance. Chen could feel the tension from her crew. They were watching. Her, gauging her resolve. Would she stand firm or fold? And if we comply, she asked, you may eventually be released. That word eventually was the death knell. Chun understood what they meant. The Zephyrians weren't letting them go. They had seen too much. Accessed forbidden systems. Understood alien tech. Worse, they'd proven that humans could make sense of it. I need time to consider, Chen replied. You have 1 hour, Vexi. Stated before the line went dead. Chen turned toward her officers. Ideas? We could bolt, Park suggested. Reroute every spare watt into propulsion. They hit our navigation, Rodriguez said. It might reach FTL, but it'd be blind, and they'd likely shoot us down. Could we hide in the ring structure? Torres asked. It's massive, and its power field could scramble our trail. Chen shook her head. They know we're here. We've got 3 ships. We can't outlast them. Dr. Webb chimed in. Overcomes. We've reboarded, Captain. I managed to beam a compressed data packet toward human space. It'll take weeks. But at least Earth might learn what happened. Flicker of hope sparked. If Earth Command received it, humanity would know what they uncovered and what happened to Defiant Horizon. Commander Vex High is calling again, Torres said. The alien reappeared, visibly irritated. Time's up, human. Decide. Chen straightened. She thought of her crew, the families left behind. The kids that might never see their parents again. But also of humanity itself. Defiant. Always climbing. My answer is no, she said firmly. We won't surrender our data or our ship. If you want it, come take it. Excised Tom turned to fury. Then you die. Let all humans who defy us witness your end. The transmission cut. Chen's voice rang over the intercom. All hands, this is your captain. We are under threat from hostile forces. Emergency stations. Prepare for combat. Alarms howled through the corridors. Chen took one last glance at the stars. Whatever came, at least history would remember, Defiant Horizon did not go down without a fight. Admiral Jackson Hayes stood rigid in Proxima Station's command center, eyes locked on the glowing display. 3 hours ago, the Defiant Horizon's distress beacon had come through, followed by Dr. Webb's compressed data. What Hayes read chilled him. A hardened man in his 60s, with battlefield scars from the century wars, he'd seen disaster. This was worse. When was that message sent, he asked. 3 weeks ago, sir, replied the communications officer. The beacon shows the ship under alien assault. No updates since. Hayes examined the transmitted star charts. The alien system's web had cataloged promised leaps faster engines, durable materials, energy sources that could push humanity into a golden age. But first, 847 lives hung in the balance. Gave me fleet command, priority alpha, the hologram. Flickered, revealing Admiral Morrison, Hayes' longtime friend and superior. They'd once crewed the same decks. Jack Morrison began. I've seen the Kepler 442 reports. How bad? Bad enough, Hayes said. Odd known aliens. Zephyrian hegemony. Hostile, claimed our zone. Took Captain Chen and her crew? What do you need? Everything. This isn't just a rescue. They think they can strike human vessels without reprisal. We're inviting chaos. Agreed. What's your move? Hayes gestured at the tactical. Display of the Kepler system. Task Force Retribution. 12 ships. Assault configured. Cruiser Vengeance is flagship. Destroyers Hammer and Anvil. Stealth frigate Shadow's Edge. 8 assault ships. An Alpha Company. Morrison raised an eyebrow. Alpha Company. Jack, they haven't deployed since Titan. You sure? Hayes allowed a grim smile. Alpha Company had earned mythic status elite Marines called only when failure wasn't an option. If Chen's crew is alive, they'll need the best. There. Not. He let the silence linger. You'll have them in 72 hours, Morrison promised. Bring them back. The next 3 days blurred into logistics and war prep. Ships streamed into Proxima from every reach of space. The Vengeance arrived first massive, armored, and built to annihilate. Her guns could crack asteroids or missiles, raise moons. Then came Hammer and Anvil-fast destroyers made for brutal precision strikes. The stealth frigate Shadow's Edge joined them in silence, her cloaking tech making her almost ghostly. But when Alpha Company showed up, everything changed. Their transports docked, Marines pouring out in full armor, stoic, unshakable. Volunteers from Hell's Edge trained for the worst. Colonel Sarah Martinez met Hayes privately, small sharpeed, and calm in a way only true survivors were. My Marines are ready, Admiral. What's the op? Hayes handed her the files. Unknown species, hostages, superior tech. We hit fast, we hit hard, we don't stop till they're home. You have stolen from the structure all research notes, every record of your discovery. And we will inspect your ship's systems to confirm nothing remains concealed. Chen felt the weight of her crew's gaze. They needed to know who she was now. Would she fight or surrender? And if we comply, she asked, you may leave eventually. That last word said everything. Chen understood. Zephyrians weren't letting them go. They knew too much, had seen the alien technology, logged its location, and worst of all, proved that humans could interpret and utilize it. I need time to consider your terms, Chen replied. You have 1 hour, Vexai snapped, ending the feed. She turned to her senior officers. Options. Run for it, Park offered. Reroute all non-essential power to engines. They hit nav systems, Rodriguez reminded. We might reach light speed, but it'd be blind, and they'd shoot before we could jump. Hiding in the ring structure? Tora suggested. It's massive. The energy fields might shield us. Chen shook her head. They know our position. 3 ships to our 1, they'll wait. Dr. Webb's voice came over. Comes, Captain, we're back aboard. I managed to transmit a compressed data burst toward human space before we left the site. It'll take weeks to reach our outpost, but some of what we found will survive. Hope flickered. If the data reached Earth Command, humanity would know what they'd uncovered, and what became of the Defiant Horizon. Commander Vexi hailing again, Torres reported. The alien appeared, visibly irritated. Time is up, human. Your decision? Chen stood tall. She thought of her crew, their families back on Earth, their children who might never see them again. And she thought of humanity, a species that clawed from caves and reached for the stars. My decision is no, she said. We will not surrender. Our findings, or allow a search? If you want it, come take it. Vex's expression twisted in rage. Then you die examples for others who would defy the Zephyrian hegemony. The feed cut. Chen's voice echoed through the ship's comms. Is the captain? You're under imminent attack by hostile alien forces. All crew, emergency stations. Prepare for battle. As alarms blared and the ship lit with red alerts, Chen stared out at the stars once more. Whatever happened now, at least Earth would know that Captain Sarah Chen and the Defiant Horizon didn't vanish quietly. At Proxima Station, Admiral Jackson, Hayes read the message with rising fury. The emergency beacon from Defiant Horizon had arrived 3 hours ago, followed by Dr. Webb's compressed burst. The contents chilled him. Hayes, a veteran of the border wars, bore gray hair and hand scars from decades of command. He recognized catastrophe when he saw it. This wasn't trouble, this was war. When was the signal sent? He asked the comms officer. 3 weeks ago, sir. It showed the Defiant Horizon under alien attack. No further updates since. Hayes reviewed the star maps transmitted in the package. The technology described faster propulsion, resilient materials, vast energy capacity could redefine human expansion across the stars. But more urgently, 847 human lives were on the line. "Get me Fleet Command," Hayes ordered. "Priority Alpha." The holographic projector activated, revealing Admiral Morrison, Hayes' superior and longtime friend. They had served together for decades before Morrison's promotion. "Jack, I've read the Kepler 442 report. How bad?" "Bad enough," Hayes answered. "Unknown species calling itself the Zephyrian hegemony, hostile, holding our people, claiming territory in our exploration zone. They have Captain Chen and her entire crew. What do you need?" "Everything you can spare. This isn't just a rescue, Tom. If they think they can ambush human ships and take prisoners without repercussion, every science mission becomes a target." Morrison nodded. "Your plan?" Hayes gestured at the tactical display of the Kepler 442. "System, Task Force Retribution. 12 ships. Heavy assault config. Vengeance is flagship. Destroyers Hammer and Anvil. Stealth frigate Shadow's Edge. 8 assault vessels. Plus Alpha Company." "Alpha Company?" Morrison raised an eyebrow. "They haven't deployed since the Titan Rebellion." "You sure?" Hayes nodded grimly. Alpha Company had earned its place in legend. When all else failed, you called them. Their legacy was built in blood on the frontiers of human survival. If Chun's still alive, they'll need the best. If she's not... He left the sentence unfinished. "You'll have your task force in 72 hours. Bring them home, Jack." 3 days blurred by as ships converged on Proxima Station. Vengeance arrived first, a war machine designed to annihilate threats. Its railguns could pierce asteroids. Its missile arrays could obliterate our warships. "You are outnumbered, outgunned, and hopelessly outclassed." Admiral Hayes didn't blink. 55 seconds. The screen went black. HFY had cut the channel, clearly expecting the bluff to collapse. But Hayes didn't bluff. "Fire." "Plan Retribution Alpha," he ordered. 12 human ships erupted in synchronized motion. The Vengeance led the charge, unleashing a barrage of precision railgun strikes that targeted the Zephyrion vessel's primary weapon emplacements, and FTL cores. The Shadow's Edge deployed electronic warfare drones, jamming Zephyrion targeting systems and blinding their command links. The aliens never saw it coming, in orbit. Chaos erupted as the first Zephyrion ship exploded under concentrated fire. Second attempted to maneuver only to be slammed by a high-velocity kinetic lance from the Resolute. The third vessel returned fire, but too late. Shields failed under the sustained assault, and a salvo of missiles finished the job. Aboard the Defiant Horizon, Captain Chen and her crew heard the rumbles of battle echo through the ship's hull. Moments later, a broadcast came through. "Attention Defiant Horizon. This is Admiral Hayes. Stand by for breach rescue. We're coming aboard." Or cheers. And tears broke out in the engineering compartment. Rodriguez grinned through soot-streaked cheeks. "Guess we won't need that fusion surprise after all." "Keep it ready," Chen said, managing a tired smile. "Just in case." 20 minutes later, armored breaching pods slammed into the Defiant Horizon's outer hull. Earth Marines stormed the corridors, securing passageways and neutralizing remaining Zephyrion boarding teams with brutal efficiency. In the command center of the now-burning alien flagship, HFY lay wounded, a plasma burn across his chest, watching as his empire's pride smoldered around him. A final transmission from Admiral Hayes crackled over his failing comms. "You should have never touched our people." With that, Task Force Retribution left Kepler 442, towing the battered Defiant Horizon behind them. Of the original crew, 394, survived, scarred, but alive. And in every military academy on Earth, one phrase entered permanent doctrine. That's why our shields failed. They're not using energy weapons. They're using mass. It's pure, devastating mass. HFY's hands clenched. Then fire everything. Destroy them now. But the humans were already moving. The Vengeance surged forward, flanked by the Iron Vow. In Liberty's hand, their missile bays open, engines glowing like miniature stars. Wave after wave of kinetic warheads roared through the void, caring about energy fields, jamming systems, or Zephyrion pride. The Dominion's fist returned fire. Green lances of plasma streaking across space, one scoring the Iron Vow's side, shearing armor. But the ship held and kept coming. Hayes watched the battle unfold with surgical focus. "Bring the Skyhammer online," he ordered. Aboard the Vengeance, a classified weapon system powered up. Hidden behind retractable armor, the Skyhammer wasn't designed for warning shots. It was designed to erase targets. "Target locked," said the weapons officer. "Fire." A single rod of depleted uranium 10 meters long and traveling at .9 seal felt the rail housing. The Dominion's fist didn't have time to react. The projectile entered at the midsection, exited the engine core, and tore a path through the command deck. The Zephyrian flagship folded in on itself, then burst apart in a superheated cascade of fire and debris on the defiant horizon. The Zephyrian soldiers standing over the human prisoners froze, stunned by the sight of their fleet dying in orbit. That moment of hesitation was all the Marines needed. Breach pods smashed into the hull. Flashbangs erupted. Human soldiers stormed the corridors, precise and ruthless. One Zephyrion raised his rifle to shoot a kneeling ensign. A plasma bolt hit him square in the chest. "Rescue team secure," shouted a Marine. In the chaos, Chen reached her bridge again. She looked at the external view, the wreckage of alien ships glowing like falling stars, and then at the smiling face of Admiral Hayes on the coms. "You took your time," she said, voice hoarse. "Had to make an entrance," he replied. Across Earth, the footage played for all to see. It wasn't just a rescue, it was a message. You don't execute humans, not anymore. Respond with force. You've doomed your species. Hayes didn't flinch. "Maybe, but if your hegemony wants a war, they'll find it's one we've been preparing for a long time." Lexi leaned forward, voice sharp. "You're primitives. You still use solid projectiles? Still believe in heroes? Still act as if courage matters in the void?" Hayes nodded. "Yes, we do, and that's why we win." Vexi fell silent. Across the detention deck, the muffled sounds of human Marines celebrating echoed faintly. Not wild revelry, just quiet acknowledgments, tired laughter, shared relief. The sound of professionals bringing their own home. Outside the cell, the view of orbit rotated slowly. Zephyrian wreckage drifted like burning confetti in the starlight. "I don't understand you," Vexi muttered. "You were supposed to break, beg. You were supposed to fear us." Hayes stood. "We did fear you. That's why we built weapons. You can't stop. That's why we sent people willing to die if it meant giving you pause. That's what you never understood." He turned to go, then stopped. "We're not here to rule the stars, Commander. We just want to be left alone. But if you take our people," he glanced over his shoulder, eyes steel, "we'll tear down empires to bring them back." The door hissed shut behind him. Later, as the Vengeance departed the system, leaving only wreckage and silence behind, Admiral Hayes issued a single transmission unencrypted, but sure to be intercepted. "This is Earth Command. We recovered our crew. It's all accounted for. No further action required unless provoked. To the hegemony. Consider this your only warning." The message rippled through the stars. Civilizations old and young listened and remembered, because the galaxy had just learned something dangerous. Humans weren't the most advanced species. They were just the ones you never, ever took alive. Power End issued a challenge to the stars. Captain Shun stood beside him, silent. Her eyes followed the distant glint of wreckage outside the viewport. "Do you think they'll retaliate?" "They will," Hayes said simply. "But not right away. They need time to understand what just happened. They thought we were prey. They need to reevaluate." Dr. Webb approached, datapad in hand. "Admiral, I've begun compiling a list of reverse-engineered technologies we can deploy immediately. Some of these systems, well, frankly, they make our top-end warships look like antiques. Good, Hayes said. Make sure defense. Command sees that list first. Shun turned to him. Now, sir. Hayes looked around the bridge. It still bore the scars of occupation-scorched walls, shattered bulkheads, patches of unfamiliar alien wiring. But it was theirs again. Now we rebuild. We take our people home. For the rest of the Galaxy 2 realized we're not a footnote anymore. A hum of activity spread across the defiant horizon as systems came online, one by one. Engines, life support, navigation. But something else ignited Tuan awareness. A moment of transformation. The United Earth Fleet was no longer just a regional force. The Zephyrian Dominion had forced humanity's hand, drawn first blood, and paid dearly. Word would spread. It always did. Some would call humanity dangerous. Others would call them necessary. Hayes walked off the bridge without another word, his shadow trailing behind him like a storm cloud. He didn't need to say more, because the message was already out there. The stars were listening. Ask ChatGPT. Massive warships surged forward, stars streaking across the view screen. Commander Park took her seat in the captain's chair. The UEES Retribution rumbled with Power IS alien-enhanced reactors humming like a storm caged in steel. Fleet responding. The comms officer reported. 7 ships en route. Its estimated arrival, 14 minutes after us. Park nodded, and we hold the line until they get there. No one questioned her authority. She'd earned their respect in the fire of the Kepler campaign, leading boarding teams through smoke and blood, and standing her ground against superior alien forces. Now she commanded the most lethal vessel humanity had ever built. As they neared Vega, sensor readings sharpened. Unknown ships are heavily armed, her tactical officer said. No, IFF signals. Definitely not Zephyrian. Looks like a new player. Not for long, Park replied coldly. Prepare all weapons systems. Target the lead attackers. If they're smart, they'll run. If they're not, Exo asked. Park's lips tightened. Then they're about to learn what every enemy of Earth has learned in the past year. It's moments. Later, the Retribution dropped from faster-than-light travel and entered the fray. The Pioneer was adrift, her hull scored by plasma burns, life support barely holding. 3 unknown warships circled her like vultures. Target lock acquired, the gunner said. Fire. The Retribution's main railguns roared, flinging rods of alloy at relativistic speeds. 2 of the enemy ships vanished in a flash of light and twisted metal. The third tried to flee, but the new gravity well generators prevented any escape. Boarding teams away. The Exo said Park stood as the rest of the fleet arrived behind her, casting long shadows across the battle zone. Secure the Pioneer. Get survivors to medical. And someone get me a translation on the attacker's transmissions. I want to know who thought it was a good idea to poke the bear. As her crew moved with crisp efficiency, Park looked out over the Vega system. This was humanity's frontier now. No longer drifting explorers or isolated outposts, they were builders of stations. WIELDARS of power. Defenders of their own. And anyone who thought otherwise was in for a brutal education. The Retribution surged through the stars, engines burning, like fury bottled in steel. Commander Park stood at the helm, her mind echoing with Admiral Hayes's words from a year prior. The galaxy has learned, we protect our own, not with threats, with action. Humans didn't just resist. They endured. They retaliated. They won. Around her, the bridge crew moved like clockwork, silent, focused, unshakable. Vega might hold another ambush, another test, another unknown enemy, but none of that mattered. They were ready, because they were human. The galaxy was still. Learning what that truly meant, half a galaxy away, in a quiet home overlooking the Atlantic. Admiral Hayes sat in his garden, a mug of tea cooling beside him. His eyes, though older, still burned with the same fire as the day he'd delivered Earth's message to the stars. The news scrolled across the screen in front of him, new colonies flourishing, trade routes blooming like arteries of a new galactic order, the fleet expanding in size and reach. But what mattered most, what made him nod in quiet satisfaction, was this: not a single human vessel had come under hostile fire since Kepler 442. Sometimes, Hayes thought, peace wasn't negotiated, it was enforced. The Zephyrians had learned that the hard way through debris, defeat, and silence. Now the rest of the galaxy faced a choice: stand beside humanity, share in its vision, its resilience, its potential, or challenge it. Zephyrians had why. That was a mistake no one made twice, you said.